Most people who bought a plug-in Jeep or Dodge did not buy a risky car. They bought what the brochure said was the smart choice, the forward-thinking choice, the car that let you use electric power for your daily commute and gasoline for everything else, a car that qualified for a $7,500 federal tax credit, a car that a major American automaker was betting its entire future on. Between January 8th and January 15th, 2026, in the span of 1 week, Stellantis killed every single one of them. The Jeep Wrangler 4xe, the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, the Chrysler Pacifica PHEV, the Dodge Hornet R/T, every plug-in hybrid in their entire North American lineup. Gone, not paused, not on hiatus. Confirmed dead. The official statement, released without a press conference, without a dedicated announcement, and without a single notification to the owners who had already bought these vehicles, said this: with customer demand shifting, Stellantis will phase out plug-in hybrid programs in North America beginning with the 2026 model year. If you own one of these cars today, your used market value adjusted the moment that statement was published. Most owners still have not seen it. This video is what they need to hear right now, before the damage gets worse. Here is what actually happened, and here is exactly what it means for the resale value of every affected vehicle, model by model. Why this happened. Three things converged at the same time, and together they made the PHEV program indefensible inside Stellantis' boardrooms. First, the safety crisis. Between 2023 and 2025, Stellantis issued 3 separate recalls for the same battery fire problem in the Wrangler and Grand Cherokee 4xe. 3 recalls. Same defect. Same Samsung SDI battery packs. The third recall, issued in November 2025, covered 320,065 vehicles, effectively every 4xe ever built for the US market. Owners were told, in writing, not to charge their vehicles, and to park outside away from buildings until a fix was ready. A fix that, as of January 2026, had not been developed. The remedy, when available, would involve either a software update or a full high-voltage battery replacement. Consumer Reports named the Wrangler 4xe the most unreliable midsize SUV in their annual survey. A class action lawsuit was filed in February 2026 by owners alleging the recalled vehicles were left without a primary feature they specifically bought the car for. Second, the sales collapse. The Dodge Hornet sold 20,559 units in 2024. In 2025, that number fell to 9,365, a 54% decline. The company suspended production mid-year and never built a 2026 model. When the end came, they did not even release a formal announcement. A spokesperson confirmed it to a journalist with one sentence about shifts in the policy environment. Third, the leadership vacuum. Former Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares, the architect of the electrification strategy, resigned in December 2024. The new CEO, Antonio Filosa, took over in June 2025. The pivot away from plug-in hybrids and back toward V8 muscle and range-extended electric vehicles was his first major strategic signal to the market. The brands that were built around the PHEV promise were left without a product path. This is the context every owner needs before looking at their car's value. Now here are the specific vehicles and the specific numbers. Vehicle 1, Jeep Wrangler. 4xe, the Wrangler 4xi was not a niche model. It was the best-selling plug-in hybrid vehicle in the United States for multiple years in a row. It represented Jeep's answer to electrification done right, off-road capability with daily EV commuting. At its launch, Stellantis sold it as the future of the Wrangler. By October 2025, a 2024 Wrangler Rubicon X 4xe with an original MSRP of $72,300 $410, sold at auction for $33,500. That is a $38,910 loss. Not over 5 years. In under 12 months. The cascade of problems is documented and public. 3 fire risk battery recalls covering the same defect. A separate recall for engine fires caused by manufacturing sand contamination. 36 confirmed fires, 3 injuries. That recall's fix also not yet developed as of late 2025. Dealers reporting trade-in offers $10,000 to $12,000 below Kelley Blue Book on affected vehicles. Some dealers refusing trade-ins entirely because they don't want the recall liability on their lot. The Wrangler 4xe is now a discontinued model from a discontinued product line, with 2 simultaneous open fire risk recalls and no replacement scheduled in the United States. For owners who bought at MSRP, the gap between what they paid and what a dealer will offer is not a negotiation. It is a number that reflects everything the market currently knows about this vehicle. Vehicle 2, Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe. The Grand Cherokee 4xe was the family-friendly version of the 4xe Promise, the only way to get a Grand Cherokee Trailhawk trim, priced from $62,000, positioned as the refined, premium expression of Jeep's electric future. 91,844 Grand Cherokee 4Xs are included in the November 2025 fire risk recall. Some of those vehicles had already been through 2 prior recalls for the same battery issue. The most recent recall confirmed that the previous software remedy was ineffective at detecting the specific battery failure mode that causes fires. The cars came back from the dealership fixed, and then caught fire anyway. Cars.com, which owned a long-term 2023 Grand Cherokee 4xe as a test vehicle, wrote that their car was at the dealership so frequently for repairs that they stopped charging the hybrid battery for 3 months and began parking it outside as a precaution. This is not a forum post from a frustrated owner. This is a major automotive media outlet describing their own experience with the vehicle on record. The used market has priced this history. The Grand Cherokee 4xe is discontinued. The recall remains open. The fix remains under development. Dealers know it. Private buyers researching on Carfax and NHTSA know it. Anyone who has not yet looked at their current valuation is operating on the price from the day they signed the purchase agreement, not the price from today. Vehicle 3, Dodge Hornet R/TPHEV. The Hornet was Dodge's entry into the mainstream SUV market. Launched for model year 2023, it was supposed to be Dodge's gateway product. A performance-flavored compact SUV that would bring new buyers into the brand, while the bigger muscle cars went electric. The R/T trim offered 288 horsepower and 32 miles of electric range for around $43,000. It lasted 3 model years. From launch to confirmed death, 24 months of production. The depreciation curve on the Hornet is one of the steepest in the compact SUV segment. According to CarEdge data, a 2024 Dodge Hornet has already depreciated 44% in just 2 years. CarEdge projects the PHEV variant will lose approximately 62% of its value over 5 years, making it one of the worst performing vehicles in the segment for resale. Kelley Blue Book confirms the 2023 Hornet has depreciated 43% in 3 years, with a current trade-in value of $13,750 on a car that started at $32,000. Stellantis confirmed the cancellation on January 13th, 2026. When dealers learned the 2026 model was never coming, they began discounting remaining new inventory by thousands of dollars. Buyers on dealership lots today can purchase brand new, never titled 2025 Hornets for prices in the low 20,000s. What that does to the value of a used 2023 or 2024 Hornet the one you already bought, is not complicated math. Vehicle 4. Chrysler Pacifica PHEV. The Pacifica Hybrid had a unique claim in the American market. It was the only plug-in hybrid minivan sold in the United States. For families who wanted the practicality of a minivan with a 32-mile electric daily range, there was no competitor. Not one. Toyota's Sienna is a conventional hybrid. Honda's Odyssey has no electrification at all. The Pacifica Hybrid was, on that metric, alone. And Stellantis killed it. The final PHEV Pacifica was the 2025 model, which Chrysler quietly discontinued in early 2026 without a press conference or a replacement announcement. Kelley Blue Book's own assessment is direct. Chrysler Pacifica hybrid resale value is at the bottom of the minivan segment. A 2026 KBB projection shows the Pacifica Hybrid losing $30,671 of its value over 5 years, starting from a $53,760 base price. For families who bought the Pacifica PHEV, specifically because it was the only vehicle in its category offering plug-in capability, the used market no longer rewards that decision. The feature that made it unique is gone from the brand entirely. There is no 2026 PHEV successor. What remains is a non-hybrid Pacifica competing in a minivan segment that has already been losing relevance for a decade. Vehicle 5. Jeep Gladiator 4xe, the one that never arrived. This one requires a separate mention because its owners are not drivers who bought the car. They are customers who put deposits down on a car that was officially canceled in September 2025 before a single production model reached an American dealership. Stellantis had announced the Jeep Gladiator 4xe, a plug-in hybrid version of the Gladiator pickup, and took customer interest and deposits while the production planning was underway. The company canceled it entirely. No compensation announcement, no replacement timeline, just a decision that the truck buyers who believed in Jeep's electrified future would have to wait for something that might or might not arrive. It is worth naming because it demonstrates something important about the decisions Stellantis was making throughout 2025. The Wrangler 4xe cancellation was not an isolated response to sales data. It was part of a systematic dismantling of the entire PHEV infrastructure, including products that had not even launched yet. Every depreciation story in the American car market measures itself against the same benchmark. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. The RAV4 Hybrid retains approximately 69% of its value after 3 years. No recalls. No production cancellations. No question about whether the brand will support the vehicle. Toyota's hybrid system, the self-charging, dealer-supported Repair Anywhere powertrain, has been in mass production since 1997. Buyers trust it because it has earned that trust over almost 3 decades. The Wrangler 4xe lost nearly 54% of its value in 1 year on a documented auction sale. The Hornet PHEV is projected to lose 62% over 5 years. The Pacifica Hybrid sits at the bottom of its segment. The Grand Cherokee 4xe has 2 open fire risk recalls with no remedies finalized. The gap between these numbers and the RAV4 Hybrid is not a gap in quality. It is a gap in certainty. The used market pays for certainty. When a brand is uncertain about its own future, the used market prices that uncertainty before you do what you can do right now. If you own any of the vehicles named in this video, there are 3 specific actions to take this week. First, check your VIN at nhtsa.gov. Both recall campaigns, 25V-741 for the battery fire risk and 25V-766 for the engine sand contamination, are searchable by VIN. If your vehicle has an open recall with no available remedy, that is a disclosure obligation in most private sale states and a negotiating factor in every dealer transaction. Know before your counterpart does. Second, Get a written valuation from Kelley Blue Book and Car Edge on the same day, not 6 months from now. Today, write down the number. Come back in 60 days. The gap between those two numbers is your signal. A gap larger than normal seasonal depreciation for your category means the market is pricing something specific. And in the case of these vehicles, you already know what that something is. Third, if you are a Wrangler or Grand Cherokee 4xe owner who has been in the dealership 3 or more times for the same battery issue and still has an unresolved recall, contact a lemon law attorney. Multiple firms are currently accepting 4xe cases. The warranties, 8 years and 80,000 miles on hybrid components, 8 years and 100,000 miles on the battery, are still active. Whether those warranties represent real protection depends entirely on whether Stellantis can produce a working remedy. That question remains open. The brands that protect your investment in the American market have always been the ones with the shortest list of open questions. For these 5 Stellantis products, the list of open questions has never been longer.